existence.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Radiant Black Podcast. This is a show about Radiant Black and everything Massiveverse, a series and superhero universe created by Kyle Higgins and Marcelo Costa. I'm your host, Bashar, and I'm joined by my fellow hosts and friends,
Radiant Matt,
Ali,
and Charlie.
So, guys, Radiant Black issue 24. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Exciting for several reasons. Is the fact that we're returning to existence. Another amazing Carlini cover, another Blacklight issue, of course, and a 1:10 ratio by Jim Mahfood. Amazing artist, big fan. We got writer Kyle Higgins, artist Marcelo Costa, colorist the incredible Igor Monti, putting on another show here, letter the amazing Becca Carey, and editor and designer Michael Basudel. So, guys, what did you think of this issue? And we'll save the spoilers for the end, right? Because there's a big ending. But obviously, this is a spoiler podcast. We're going to talk about this issue, so make sure you read it. But yeah, what you guys think?
You know, this one definitely highly anticipated for many reasons. I think the number one reason for most people was this Blacklight, and yeah, getting back to existence here and just diving deep down and seeing all the truths we get along the way. But yeah, the colors, Igor, once again, yeah, just put on a show. My only downside, I actually did this to myself, is like the first time number 10, I made sure I read this the first time with the Blacklight version, and this time I just I didn't have a chance to go grab one yet. So yeah, when I get a chance to do that, I'm sure I'm gonna be even more blown away. But even on digital with the normal inks, this thing still looks incredible.
I mean, yeah, it's Igor Monti. It's always going to look incredible. But it was nice being back in existence. It's been a while. It was definitely nice to get another Blacklight issue. I had to look for my flashlight, for my Blacklight flashlight that I got last year specifically for this. So that was pretty fun. What did you think, Matt?
it was wild, right? I mean, in a world where truths are currency, what are you willing to bargain? No, this was wild, right? Like existence is almost like a normal thing to us now. Like, oh, we're going back to existence. It's been, I don't know, like a year and a half almost since. But this was a nice revisiting. Reminded me of like Ocarina of Time when you return to the city 7 years later and you see what's happened in your absence. It's interesting to see what's happened to existence, this area we barely grasped the concept of, and now we're going back. So I thought this was a really cool journey, and I think that this cliffhanger is like the biggest we've had since issue 4, really. Like, this is massive, and we'll talk about it later. This is the most this is probably the most excited I've been to discuss this series, because it's wild and the future is in flux. So stick around.
I agree. Yeah, no, it's an incredible issue and an interesting sequel to Radiant Black 10 for sure. I think there's a lot of similar beats, but also some cool additions to the issue, and we'll talk about those because there's pretty spoilery. We're looking through the issue now. Of course, the first thing that sticks out, and we mentioned it earlier, but of course it really is incredible, is Igor Monti's coloring. So there's a Blacklight edition, and it was $9.99 US. And I was just looking, at stores, eBay, and all the market in general where you could find comic books, and there's not a lot of Blacklight copies this time around. There's not as much. So I think it's like we said before. It's because it's issue 24 of a series. It's a pretty hefty cover price. So it's a lot of people are just going to get their pool copies, maybe a few shelf copies. So if you got some, that's awesome. If you didn't, we're going to be doing a giveaway where we give away some of the Blacklight edition of Radiant Black 24. So stay tuned for that. So you guys mentioned that. Did anyone here get a Blacklight edition?
Yeah, my store actually only had 2, and one of them unfortunately had a crease. So I got the one good copy they had. And it was fun. Blacklights, it's always fun.
What was it like experiencing Igor's colors?
It was funny because I waited till it got dark and I was laying in bed and with a flashlight in one hand and.
Oh shit! Wait! This is a PG-13 podcast. Jesus Christ! I don't know. We're talking about Radiant Black here.
Listen. If I'm gonna do existence, I'm gonna do it right. I closed the door. It's all dark, and the only light is from my flashlight. I had the book out, going page by page, panel by panel. It's always a great experience. If
Wait, do you have like a custom flashlight? Like you bought one online, or do you have like the little one that they have in the comic book stores now?
No. I last year was it last year? I think, yeah, last year, whenever issue 10 came out, I went to, I think, Harbor Freight or something that day, and I bought a little blacklight flashlight, and that's the one I've used the first time, and that's the one I used this time too. It's small, but it does the job.
Anyway, but did you guys notice that? So there was just a slight detour here. There was a Radiant Black newsletter that came out today called "Off to Existence," obviously promoting this issue, and they showed that the little Radiant Black lights that Kyle's been carrying around at cons for years now, promoting the series and this issue, the Blacklight issues. They have them now for sale at comic book stores. You could have ordered them from Diamond in in packs of I don't know, a few. So did any of you manage to get those? I know I want one, but I haven't managed to get one yet.
Yeah, that's a great idea for sure. I think I still have. There was one that came in the box, right? Like the Radiant Black box a while ago.
Yeah.
I think I still have
Yeah.
that one, but yeah, no. During the issue 10, I bought one with it's got like a 3.5 inch like face on it, so it can like literally cover like the whole page. It's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
I just have the one from the box, the Radiant Black box they did last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one. Like I'm gonna get like Lava Lamp first, then Blacklight. If I'm gonna bring first the 80s, then we're gonna usher in the 90s. We'll see what happens here at my house. But yeah, I definitely I need a Blacklight now. This wasn't an issue we had before Radiant Black, but now I need to fully enjoy Igor's like exceptional work as far as colors go. Like looking through the issue, we forget like this is fucking amazing. Like look at the stuff we're seeing, like the colors, just the world. Like it's amazing. Like you have to take a second to comprehend because it's so world bending and so exceptionally done that we're just left here with an amazing masterpiece. Like this issue is like 9.5 minimum for me, just based on like the art alone.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, yeah, you know me, I'm a big fan of Igor. I do think he's one of the best colorists in the business. I liked now that we look through it more carefully, it is, like we said, there are some similar beats because we are in a lot of ways calling back to those moments in Radiant Black 10 and the evolution of those moments. We're contrasting between the two. We're analyzing the differences between the characters, then and now. How have they grown? How has the Radiant affected them? How have they broken the Radiant, as they mentioned in this issue? And did you guys notice one thing, like right off the bat, that first page when we're welcomed into existence and Marshall and Nathan are just like, yeah, something looks off. You guys notice how like the entire like architecture, that big like city looking thing, it looks corrupted.
Yeah, the Citadel, right? Like it looks like a Citadel. That's what I want to call it. I don't know if that's what it is, but yeah, it's hard to describe. But yeah, it's like it looks corrupted, like something's gone wrong, and even the platforms have been shattered that we saw Marshall walk across in issue 10.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks poison. I'm just like, I'm curious to like see if this is like a world that, and we'll talk about like what we learned later, but like if the robots like kind of created this world for themselves, but obviously as we know later, the robots had some sort of access to this world. So yeah, I'm curious just to learn more like what existence is and like how it really relates to these avatars or whatever we learn later.
That's how I felt as well.
I took it a little bit differently. To me, it looked like it was under siege. It almost looked like, yeah, it looked like the Citadel, it's space. So it's like moving around space, kind of like a satellite, and there's like a planet on the left-hand side. And then it looked like all those, I guess, chains or tentacles, whatever you want to call them, are like trying to hold it in place, getting it ready for an attack or a siege.
Yeah, I got both impressions, like from like both, whether it was corrupted or whether it was under attack. But either way, it looked like something was off. And that next page, I mean, jaw-dropping stuff. You turn the page, and well, obviously, first we see 001 again, and we're all big fans of 001. If you've been listening, well, first of all, thank you. And second, we mentioned recently in one of the episodes, we're like, where's 001? You see him talking in the, of course, last issue. He popped up towards the end, and we got excited because we're like, okay, we're gonna see the character. But the next page. Holy shit! that seriously like shocked me when I first saw that page. So we get a page of gorgeous artwork, Marcelo Costa artwork, and Igor Monti colors, just cosmic, psychedelic. As we now know, it's called the Colossal is dead. And how'd you guys feel seeing this?
Definitely a shocker. Yeah, I was expecting to see the robot kind of like, I was expecting to kind of see him sickened right away, not just like straight up just dead like this. But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. We see like the other robots, and it's crazy because like we've seen the size on Earth of like those other robots, like we got those like Godzilla scenes like coming out of the water, just so many cool things, just showing the size of those. But like to this robot, these things look like insects. Like they're not nearly as big as this guy, but yeah, just shocking. Looks like they put up a hard fight though, for sure. But yeah, managed to take him down.
So it's like Existence was invaded because we see that there's other robot bodies, the same ones. Yeah. So do you guys think the Radiant Phantom or Radiant Green or whatever people are calling them showed up here? Or
Oh, Sungai?
Yeah.
Soongai, yeah.
Huh? I don't know. Maybe it was Sungai, or maybe he just sent his bot lackeys. But it made me like rethink how we think about the bots, or as we learned this issue, colossals, because so far they've only come out like when shit got real, and they've been super powerful in whatever fight that they've been in. And now we see them like finally beat up. The only other time we've seen a bot this beat up was in Wendell's future, right? So if this shit's happening right now, then it's pretty serious.
Yeah, but I feel like we got a lot of lore building in this issue, right? Like you guys
Definitely.
got lore. Like, do you guys see we got like the name? Like we got the colossal. We got we got more clarification on the fact that there's something wrong with the Radiant 001 says it's broken. Later we find out more about that, so that's we shed even more light on that, and we'll talk about that towards the end of this issue. Yeah, I think it's really interesting because this time the Radiant's unreliable in Existence, and that's the first thing 001 tells them as he hands them these really cool cosmic, like sci-fi looking weapons. It took me back to like aliens kind of a little bit, so I thought that was cool. And yeah, shit's real when you're in Existence and you can't rely on the Radiant. It reminds me of like the most recent issue of Star Wars where Luke's kyber crystal isn't working, so his lightsaber just turns off randomly, and he can't rely on it anymore. And it's like that's kind of a scary thought when you're a Jedi, because that's your go-to like tool, and you have a connection with the crystal, right? And here it's like you have a connection with the Radiant, and you have two people.
Yeah, that's my thought is like, how did they gain access to existence? It looked like a relatively safe place. Like if Eva was to go into existence right now, would it look like this? Is her existence different than this shared world between Marshall and Nathan? Now we've only seen these two go in, but they're sharing a radiant, and even 001 was absorbed into this radiant. So maybe when the radiants were split, is that what caused an opening for someone to come in and invade or whatever? Or maybe subconsciously, whoever might end up down the path to becoming Soon Guy, maybe they were doing this inside without even knowing. Well, unconsciously, we don't know. And I don't know. I think there's a way more to spec. Like, I feel like Kyle, that we don't even know what this book is.
People still don't know what this book actually is.
I feel like I know even less because lore dumps are crazy. Like these are like rogue robots, right? They gave these radiants, right? So these radiants could have been stolen from other people. Is this a peaceful robot? Are we fighting for evil robots against quote unquote like a healthy civilization that just wants to take back power that was stolen from them? We don't know. Like really, I feel like my brain is like a cracked egg, and like the yolk is just falling everywhere. It's pretty crazy. Like this issue is wild.
Yeah. I'm personally curious. Like we find out kind of like this robot, like Radiant Black's robot, is the leader kind of this quote unquote new way, whatever that means. But like it seems to like mention that this robot actually kills like all the past avatars of the Radiants. Killing the avatars and stealing the radiance. So like I'm curious like who these avatars were before, and like because I thought at first he was the avatar. So maybe he killed these and became the avatar, and then where did these other robots come from? And I guess they were working with him. But yeah, there's just so much to think about here. And yeah, 0001. Definitely, yeah, he looks pretty grizzled here. Yeah, he looks pretty beat up here for the most part, from when we last seen him.
I loved it. It reminds me of like when we see Snake in MGS4 compared to the other ones where he's older and he has the mustache and the cigar and everything. It's a lot more prominent. I love that. It reminded me a lot of that. But yeah, no, fantastic stuff. The artwork's insane. Like truly, like these are the kinds of issues I genuinely wish they were done traditionally, because I was like, I would buy so many pages of this issue. Yeah.
Right. I would just print it out and have it all over my walls. But yeah, for 8 cycles, he's looking pretty good. We don't know how long 8 cycles is, but like that's a long, like he's aged, right? So however long since we've been in existence and he's been trapped in there, he's aged like radically. Maybe he drained his life force and time didn't even pass that quickly. We don't even know. Maybe he sacrificed himself and he's fully pledged to the robot, right? Like he's fully pledged to, that's their leader, the Colossal. So maybe this could be like a long con as well. Like maybe here's like a crazy theory. Maybe 001 like purposely slashed the hell out of this robot as a way to trick Nathan and Marshall to go into existence to potentially choose whoever they want going forward to be their leader, because they know they don't want to, if there's like a huge rebellion or like a huge war coming up, you don't want to have it like a 50-50 choice on who's going to lead it, right? You probably have someone in mind and who you want to lead, someone ruthless or someone more thoughtful. I mean, we're getting spoilers, but like, yeah, I didn't exactly say what happens at the end, but yeah, big choices going forward outside the world and within.
Yeah, so we're back at the Helix in the next page, and you look at the relationship evolution in this return to existence, and here you see that despite them being in this situation that's awkward, they're in more or less civilian form because they just have guns on them, and they don't really, the Radiant's unreliable. Marshall still has a really good, vivid memory of everything and how to get through the Helix, which is impressive considering. I mean, look at that page. There's a time or two where they get lost. So the fact that he has this like memory of this happening, he lets Nathan know it's because he gave everything that day to save him. It took everything, and then in the next page they get sent down to the next part of existence, and that's where they're greeted by existence, personified in this case. And it takes the personification form of Radiant Black, very appropriate. Marshall, it's really scary because Marshall just lets him, like, let's get down to business. I just want to ask for help because, the robots and everything. And that's when they get attacked by this really weird, and Nathan gets dragged into the pool of cosmic colors, and Marshall jumps in to try to save him. And that's where things get really intense, because for them to get what they want out of this, this trip to existence, they're going to have to face the truth again.
I was gonna say, I noticed the air bubbles when Nathan's being pulled underwater are pink. Like the pink was a really relevant color in the last time I went to existence. I want to like look back into the color theory of it all, but like pink is an important color in this, and also yellow's present. So all the colors of the Radiants we've seen have basically been present. Anyways, what were you saying, Ali?
The monster that existence, I guess, transformed into is pretty crazy to me, because I don't think that we've seen anything that looks even close to this anywhere in Radiant Black before. Like, if anything, this is something that'll come out of Rogue Sun, not Radiant Black. So that took me by surprise. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say the closest thing might be like what we saw in Supermassive with that big like beast, but like even that didn't look anything like this thing. Yeah, no, that's.
Even the beings here, like the shadowy figures, their masks almost look like entropy, right? So there's like a little bit of Rogue Sun, a little bit of entropy there. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there was Infernal Red connections done purposefully. I've got a crazy theory. I mean, later on we mentioned talking about Marshall's dad. Like, wouldn't it be funny if Marshall's dad left to be a Rogue Sun and got killed in like the Avery area or something like that, and it was no big deal? So his dad's a failed hero, so Marshall has to redeem him or something? Like that'd be kind of, I don't think it would happen, but it'd be pretty wild.
We do get a lot here. Like, I mean, Sharon was definitely an interesting character in the Supermassive, but in this issue, like, we do get more we do get some reveals into the past of each character. Some of them implicit, some of them a little bit more explicit. Like in this page, we see like Brayden, right? We see Nathan try to be funny and make a Toy Story 2 confession, but instead the existence starts to taunt him, turns into Brayden, tells him that he's a failure, and it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty dark, to be honest with you, especially since he's probably not used to hearing that kind of thing. But in the next page, Marshall's fighting an entirely different battle of his own, right? But that's when the personification of existence to him changes into Nathan as Radiant Black, and that's got to be difficult given what's coming, obviously. But you also see a change into his mother, and then we get some reveals, right? These are some really, I think, important moments, because we all get caught up over the end of this issue, but lore building and reveal some pasts. Like here, Brenda, yeah, it could be an ex-girlfriend or a sister or a family member or a significant other. And then there's his mom. She says, even as a little boy, well, the personification of existence being his mother, taking the form of his mother. Even as a little boy, you were disobedient, and that temper, just like Daddy, so damn disappointing. And that's where he retaliates by activating the radiant, putting on Radiant Black, and punching the beings off. So yeah, like that's interesting. We get the name Brenda. We get we find out that he had a temper as a child, and somehow that's similar to his dad. So maybe that shows why there's some friction between his family. Lots of interesting breadcrumbs.
That, and you accept these powers in rage, and now you wield them, and rage is how you wield them. Like, I like that. Like, he's kind of been ever since he took it to get revenge. That's why he took on the radiant. So I do like how Marshall is like really, really angry. He doesn't even deny it. That when Nathan says later on, like, I think you'd kill somebody, or I think you get someone killed. He's like, well, I didn't want to hurt anybody. He didn't say like I wouldn't want to do that, but sometimes his rage gets the best of him. Like I mean, we've seen it through this last volume, right? Of like Marshall going full rage mode and stuff like that. But I like that that's been earmarked here of like, yeah, Marshall could be the vengeful one, or maybe he's got the most redeem and prove that he's not angry by being a good leader. There's a lot of ways to handle this.
The thing is where I think I don't know, but I don't want to speculate there because I really don't know. But what I do want to say is I think this is a lot closer than we're giving it credit for, because what Kyle Higgins and co are doing here are painting a foil situation, like a mirror image situation, where both of these people had the same opportunity. They both had access to the radiant for a good amount of time, and they both had the opportunity to do things with the radiant. And the thing I'm wondering is, like, obviously this is a shared truth, like you were saying, like, okay, the pain, the truth of him causing pain, it's not just the pain, the truth that existence is revealing to him, that's his individual truth, but it's also the truth that we'll eventually see in this issue towards the end, that he shares with Nathan, because Nathan, that's the truth that he's scared to come to terms with. That's the truth that he's scared to share with Marshall, because it's their truth, right? He's scared to tell him that he scares him. So it's like I mean, I get it, because it's like it's a tough situation because it's his friend and they both share that power, right? They have the access to the radiance. So that's why I think it's really cool what they do towards the end here, is that they show you what each of them did, and they both failed and succeeded in their own ways, right? Because they made some differences, but they also failed in their own respective ways, in their own individual. There's also like the objective truth towards the end that they both share, which is they both shared the radiant, right? They both shared the radiant, and it's synced to it's having trouble synchronizing to both. So now the truth is one of them's going to have to be Radiant Black.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just always go back to issue 9, like the first time, like his reasons for going into existence in the first place, and I kind of had a thought, like, do you think Nathan, like, if the positions were switched and Marshall was in the bed, like, I don't think he would have like ran and like jumped in front of a train to get into existence, would he? Like,
so Nathan doesn't activate Kate mode here. It's right. It's Marshall that has to carry him up with it later on, like a couple pages from now, right? Right. Okay, my first read, yeah, I thought that Nathan kind of like did that, but so that's a form, like Marshall is like the power of this unit. If this is the Triforce, he's like wisdom or maybe courage, and Nathan's like power, right? Because like, or Marshall's like power because he can really push it to the next level. We've seen him go. We've only seen Kate mode in the dream that we saw in issue 4, or the potential future in issue, what is it, 3 or 4, where we saw the Kate mode and Nathan with his mask off, right? The dream. So that's very much in play, given the the big cliffhanger at the end of this. Is that a potential future? Is it not? Does that make Nathan by that he doesn't push to that level, that he goes like full ruthlessly like unwieldy power and just like get the Kate mode or whatever, or what we saw like the Carnage mode, like the fully black suit. That's all Marshall, and maybe that's the kind of power you need to end this war. And maybe Nathan's too in his own head, like a lot of writers are, to be able to accomplish the power that he needs.
And in the next page, we get that amazing color explosion, like we did in Radiant Black number 10, where they're almost coming to terms with their truths, and that's where they finally reveal the truth to each other, which is in terms of Nathan, he reveals to Marshall that he's afraid of him because he's afraid of how he just hurts people, of what he can do with the radiant. And then in the other case, Marshall is more, I guess, upset because he doesn't understand why people don't believe in him, and he just really wants to help everybody, including his friends, but nobody's really giving him a chance. As they come to terms with their truths and leave existence, return to 001, and he tells them that he's fixed the Colossal. They take the little radiant and stick it into the Colossal to power it up. We're going to have to decide now, moving forward. That's the catch. It's that they get you for a page. You're like, oh, is it going to be Nathan? But then it fucks you up because the robot looking directly at you and saying, "You must decide," and there's a QR code. Now, of course, who are you going to vote for? So we're not going to try to color anyone's impression, paint anyone's impression of who they should vote for. I think you guys should, think about it thoroughly and vote for who you'd like. But I'm just curious, do you guys, did anyone for you just come to mind right away?
Who needs it? Like, who needs the Radiant? Like, I feel like Nathan's got a plan for his life. Like, he's like, I'm gonna go to LA and do this. He only wants the Radiant to keep it from Marshall to keep everyone safe, right? Like, I feel like Marshall, yeah, like Marshall needs it because it's given him purpose. He's like, I want purpose too. I don't want to hurt anybody. But this boy got some rage issues. He hasn't had a dad around. His mom openly, maybe she didn't like this. Could have been like a projection of his mom, or maybe she could have done this, or he knows this subliminally, that his mother maybe doesn't respect his dad, and maybe his dad's a bit of a deadbeat. So he doesn't really have any father figures, right? Like probably any talk that he had at Nathan's house with Mr. Burnett was the most like fatherly wisdom he had in his life, and that's a part of you that's gone. So having this power and stuff like that and having some meaning, like losing that and not having a loving family. His mom's around, but she's still like, oh, you're back from hell or wherever. All right, well, your dog's expensive. Like it's like he doesn't have that love from elsewhere. And speaking as someone who has issues with a lot of family members, right? Me and my bonds with my friends are tighter than that. So to have one of your best friend take like your purpose, like that's destructive. So either way this narrative goes, like it's interesting. I'm all here for it. Like someone was saying in the Discord discussion today that we need like a what if, right? Like a what if one shot on like what if whoever doesn't get picked gets picked. Because like I'm really interested, and that's the sign of an amazing writer, right? What Kyle's cooked up. When we were talking earlier on, Kyle would say like we've got, I think it was 2 volumes planned up to probably this point. And of course I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm all in. If I'm Basud, I'm like, holy shit, that's wild. Let's do it. And I'm impressed to see what they've accomplished. I don't want to be biased. My heart should tell me Nathan's the one to pick. Marshall seems like the shit show pick, but it seems so interesting, doesn't it? I'm interested to see what the fans have to say, and we'll definitely hear from the listeners for sure on this.
So you've made your feelings clear. You don't give a fuck about the first few issues where Nathan was Radiant Black. You're just like, oh, those issues don't exist to me. Radiant Black started at issue 4. That's where it started.
Well, I thought that in issue 10 it was more Marshall's like journey through existence, and then this issue was more Nathan's journey to, or truth, not existence, is his journey to truth. So that might be why Nathan was the one that put it in. But man,
You know what? Honestly, I'm with you, Ali. I'm kind of the exact same. I think for me though, like it was kind of my late jump onto it. Like I read those first 4 issues. Like I didn't start with issue 1 month to month, so I kind of just like had more time, I guess, with Marshall. But yeah, no, I kind of I didn't even like think this over really, and honestly, this issue like Nathan not really like giving Marshall like the chance, or obviously like it's deep inside, like it's, and he says like, and what does he say here? Oh yeah, this isn't what I want, like not believing in him, but it is the truth, like that actually is what he believes. So I guess that is really powerful, but that kind of made me not like Nathan a little less, but almost in a way. Like it made me feel, I guess, more sympathetic towards Marshall, I guess.
I haven't voted yet. I'll just say that right away. When I saw that page, I was like, my jaw dropped because I wasn't expecting this right before bed.
Yeah,
Kept me up
yeah,
for a
that's
little
true.
bit longer. But the one that came immediately to mind had to be Marshall, just because he's had it for so much longer. We've built this connection to Marshall over the last 2 years, over the last 24 issues. And I just kept thinking, like, how will this book be, and how will Radiant Black's interactions with all the other characters in this world be if it's not Marshall anymore? Like, it really will be a different book at this point, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I have to think about it genuinely. I think this issue was written well enough to where it presents a case for both, and I think personally as a reader, I want to give a chance to both. I love reading comics. I've been reading them for a very long time, and the Jason Todd thing like hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just like in a lot of ways it hurt, because like even if you didn't like him as a Robin, that's fine. I thought he was a terrible Robin in some ways, but it was an enjoyable Robin to read in other ways. It still hurt because it was like, man, to see something just get killed like that. But it was an interesting experiment, and it was fun. It was history, right? In a lot of ways, people still talk about it today. Yep, and this is bigger because you're not killing off like a sidekick or someone who was a replacement to the OG sidekick. So it's like some people had even less reasons to really like him. In this case, you're picking between the main of the series and a series in which the writer and Kyle Higgins and the rest of the creative team, all the artists, have done an incredible job in embodying these characters and making them likable, but also giving them their respective flaws, as we've seen in this issue. So, yeah, I've learned. These both these guys have grown on me. Their friendship's grown on me, even though it's flawed. I think it's in a lot of ways reflective of just real humans and their flaws. So I don't know. I'll really have to think about it genuinely because I love both these characters. But immediately when I was first looking, I was like, yeah, I'll go with Marshall. Like immediately thinking about it, but then I was like, I don't know, man. Nathan, he's been through a lot. Maybe he just needs a chance, also. So, you know what I mean?
You're speaking from the heart. Like this has hurt you. You're like a scorned lover. Like
Oh
this
yeah.
is like right. This was a big deal. Like even I know about this, and I wasn't in the comics at the time. This was a big deal, and it's a huge deal now. Who's gonna lead your franchise? Basically.
There's a lot more Nathan lovers out there than I actually realized. Like, I don't know. I thought it was just like, I thought it was like quite the majority, like Marshall, like just from the time we've got. But no, I was surprised. Like to see, I do like to see that Nathan love for sure. It's good to see. I like to see the split. Like that's how amazing this writing has been.
See, this is the part that's like kind of blowing my mind because we have 30 days, I think it said. Let me double check. Yeah, we have 30 days, so that's June 2nd. And this is a big choice because, like, I probably wasn't even born when the Jason Todd vote happened, but I think this is a little bit more impactful because, like you said, Bash, that you're choosing which one of them is going to be the main character.
And you're probably choosing which one's gonna be the villain. It's like I'm just saying, right? Like in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
but also, I want to say like the Michael Basuto mentioned earlier in the Discord, the Reading Black podcast Discord, or just the Reading Black Discord. If you want to check it out, it's a great little community we have here online where we talk everything Massiveverse. We have some of the creators. It's just cool. We put the links in every episode's description, so check it out. And Michael Basuto just stepped in today while people were discussing the latest issue and said, like, so far the votes are pretty close. They said they don't know if they're going to put any metric things afterwards, but they said they probably might, but they don't know how specific they'll be. So we'll see. It's all speculation as of now. But he did say that so far, as of today, the votes are close.
Did they, real quick, did they say, or do you know if you can vote more than once?
No, but I really hope you can, at least
Okay.
per IP or something, because that would just that's just gonna make it so who's most voted.
I think you just put in your email, to be honest. So yeah, I haven't tried, but I don't think there's anything stopping you per se.
The thing that you have to do is show some barcode from your original purchase of the Radiant Black box. That's like it should only be. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, but yeah, I just want to give a big shout out as well to all the incredible community members out there. I mean, we've got a ton. I actually wrote a list, but I can't find a piece of paper. So maybe next time, but yeah, thanks everyone for your support. We just really noticed a lot recently and appreciate it. Check out our giveaway, right? We know that these blacklight issues can be a bit expensive, especially compared to a normal comic price, and we know sometimes they're hard to find. Not a lot of stores stock them, which is their mistake and their loss. You should check out Radiant Black. So we'll have some for giveaway. But yeah, overall, this issue, that's one hell of a way to end it. And yeah, what did you guys think? Did you said 9.5. I mean, is that the consensus here?
Yeah, this is a solid 9 out of 10. It's pretty solid. I like that it kind of followed the same direction, same beats as Reading Black 10, and then presented us with this cliffhanger, big choice that we have to think about and worry about for the next month. So thanks for all the sleepless nights I'm gonna have.
For me, it's a 9.2. I reread issue 10 and it still hits. Like the last scene with Marshall and Nathan, like the sincerity in that, and there's sincerity in that too. And this also packs a punch, but you never forget your first time. The 10 was wild. So for me, I think it was superior, but this also just like it packs a wallop at the end, and I think it does a lot of really cool world building stuff. So yeah, 9.2 for me. This was an exceptional issue, and like this series, if they're all issues like these, I mean, all the issues have their own merit, but goddamn, the existence ones definitely stand on their own. Bash, what about you?
I'd say it's somewhere in the nines for sure. Probably like a 9.2 or something like that. Radiance 9.2 radiance out of 10. The 0.2 is the part that's glitchy.
The point two is going around today. Yeah, I'll throw in I'll throw in a 9.5 too. I didn't put in my number, but yeah, I'll throw in a 9.5. This was fantastic.
Real quick too, looking through the Discord, Michael said something pretty interesting. He said, Nathan's completely healthy and severing him from the Radiant wouldn't just kill him straight up, but whoever loses the vote will still be alive for at least 10 minutes after they make the decision. So I don't know if that means one of them is going to die. Are we voting on who lives, who dies, who's the hero of the book, who's the villain of the book? I don't know. There's a lot to consider and think about. And I don't know. Do you guys think we'll get a little bit more info or hints about this in Supermassive?
Do we have time? We're getting Catalyst War next. All I know is if we're chasing the Holy Grail, everything's been so vague in the lead up to Supermassive because there's just so much going on in the Massiveverse right now. We know there's a Holy Grail involved, and it's more like Rogue Sun's area of the Massiveverse that we're going to be, popping into. But I'm just so excited because the possibilities are endless, and we've been speculating a long time on who the villain behind the scenes has been in Rogue Sun, and now we know it's Morningstar, and we've seen Morningstar. Things are so exciting. But one thing I just want to say, just referencing something you guys mentioned earlier, was the very first time we read Radiant Black, and you can go back to the very first episode of this podcast. I'm proud of this because we really did point this out. We noticed it. It was very particular. The first time they ever see the Radiant, you can tell that Marshall was really disappointed that Nathan got it. Genuinely, he wanted it. You could see it in his eyes. He was genuinely upset when Nathan grabbed it, and that's something we mentioned. And it's crazy how that comes back now, 24 issues into the series. We're back, and that's still a thread. And that's how long it's been building. It's been, fucking awesome.
What if Nathan selected, and then Marshall just goes, "No, I won't let you have it," and just kills him in existence? We could see wild shit. We could be dealing with is we could be voting in what we think is the hero, but the person that doesn't get picked is the ultimate underdog and is the redeemer. What if the person that's picked, no matter what, if it's Marshall or
Nathan, here's a better question. Here's a plot twist. Do you guys think Wendell saw this coming?
No. Maybe because he said which one of you is alive. He's not dead yet, so I think he saw the struggle coming, but maybe he saw something more violent, like an actual death. And this is a different timeline where an actual choice has to go down.
No, but do you guys remember that he was scared of Marshall? Remember? Do you remember issue? He was really scared of Marshall. He thought Marshall died when Nathan came to the bus stop. Remember?
Well, you got me thinking now. Can even Wendell see into the future of existence? Maybe he can just see the future of, I guess, the regular Earth or whatever. We don't know if he can see into existence like that.
Just the results of what happens in existence, in the real world or something. Yeah.
Let me pull this issue up, though. I want to tell you. So the issue I'm talking about is Radiant Black number 17. Towards the end of Radiant Black number 17, you can see Nathan fly down to Wendell, and he says, "Sorry about your car. If it wasn't there, you wouldn't have gotten up in time. And well, I'm just sorry I couldn't save Marshall, but you need to know his sacrifice will not be in vain." And then Nathan says, "Sacrifice. Marshall's alive. I think we're sharing the Radiant now." That's the first time that we ever know that they're sharing the Radiant, because that's the first time Nathan takes it back again to use it. I think, without permission, I guess you could say, in a way. Anyway, and then he says, Wendell says, "Alive? But how? But that's not how." And then he looks shocked. And then Nathan's flying away, and he says, "I guess you were right about the future being blurry. Anything is changeable, right? Anyway, offer to fly you home, but you're probably at the bus stop for a reason. Really hope I can pay you back sometime, though. After all, we didn't do this alone. Thanks, Wendell." And that's where Wendell looks terrified, and he says, "Oh God, this is wrong. He's going to kill us all."
That's foreshadowing. It looks like Marshall, it definitely has been earmarked. Marshall is a bad guy, not a bad guy.
We've talked about this. Yes, we've talked about this so much. That's why he's the only person that can access the dark radiant form. Maybe maybe that's because he's the only person that's that dark. Like, I don't know. That's pure speculation, but I'm just
And
saying.
Nathan has like a vision of that where like he would do anything to avoid becoming that, where Nathan's already become, or Marshall's already become that several times with like it becoming fully under the control of like, the power.
That's true. We've seen bearded Nathan. I wonder what that really was. Maybe that was just a vision. Like, remember bearded
Maybe,
Nathan? Like future bearded
or he's
Nathan?
left in existence to grow a beard or something like that, like
Oh,
001, and
yeah.
he gets out and he's pissed off. That'd be wild. Like Marshall versus Nathan is going to be wild. Like eventually we're going to see the two. Like we've talked about it. There's no way there's not a conflict over that much power. No way. I've seen
No,
him.
they're definitely gonna duke it out. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Of course.
All right, so next it says a Supermassive, and we've got the cover towards the end. Obviously, we're excited for Supermassive. Make sure you pick that up. It's coming real soon. We don't have another Radiant Black issue until July because in June we're taking the break for Supermassive, so it's going to be a minute. With that being said, that gives us plenty of time to discuss these incredible developments, this incredible vote. You have you have so much time to make your case to the fans on why you're voting the way you're voting and why this person should be Radiant Black. It's going to be really fun watching everybody talk about this. And we're thinking about doing a live sometime in the next few days where perhaps we can get together with the community and talk about who you think should be Radiant Black. And we talked about this before, and I wanted to ask you guys, but I suppose we can decide now. You mentioned before that we weren't going to make another tier list until we've gotten several more characters. And I think right now in the Massiveverse, it's teeming with life, teeming with ingenuity, teeming with so many new awesome characters and villains. And I think it's the perfect time for us to make another Radiant tier list. So what do you guys say? Radiant tier list soon?
Yeah, sounds pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get your tier R's ready. That pun is really forced. No, but yeah, I'm excited. It's always nice to judge these characters, and they're always controversial. Everyone's favorite, always. Every character is always someone's favorite. It's like a Pokemon. Like every character that might not gel with someone is someone's like beloved with posters all over the wall. Also, what's this issue going to look like if you read it 30 days from now when you scan the code? It's like thanks for playing or something like that. It'd be nice to have like at least like original art or something to look at instead of you missed your chance to vote. Enjoy the rule of evil Marshall or something. Like, fuck.
I mean, I wonder if they'll put that in future issues. Like, if they'll put that the fans voted and it turns out that this is who they voted for. You guys picked your... Like, can you imagine, like, that's the future cover? Like, your new Radiant Black! And it's just, like, the person everyone voted for and they're on the cover. That would be fucking cool. And, man, they'll do something crazy because the Massiveverse is just... They're just full of brilliant ideas. Kyle Higgins... Michael Basuto, Brian Parrott, Matt Groom, Melissa Flores, Becca Carey, just everybody involved in the Massiveverse is doing incredible work. And you guys better get on it. Better check out this comic book. Recommend it to your friends. Tell them about the podcast because we give away.
Or the genius thing that Bash did, where when they had the individual $1 issues of the one shots,
Right.
you just put them in someone else's pull list. That's fucking genius. Like, I'm gonna do that next time I have the chance. Like, that's the way to get people in your stuff. I mean, you can't go door to door with the Bibles. Like, I'm sure religion would spread much faster if you could just drop a Bible or whatever in someone's pull list. But yeah, that's the way to do it, and it's a really nice way to get the series out there, giving them the gift of good literature. What else could you want?
Yeah. Exactly. Spread the Massiveverse love. Get some people the books. Tell them to check it out. You have no excuse with those $1 Radiant Blacks, Image First or whatever they're called. There, you can find them everywhere. And yeah. And in the latest wave of solicits, we got Radiant Black Volume 4, the trade. So for pre-orders, so if you guys want to pre-order that, make sure you add it to your pre-orders. I'm not sure what the date is, but it's a while away. It's probably in July, I think. So, or June or July. So we still got some time. So make sure you check that out. And in terms of the Massiveverse, we've got a pause, like we said, in June because we've got Supermassive. So I think we'll be back in July with all the other series. Much earned, honestly, break from everyone. And you guys know how we feel here about Daniele Di Niculo. So we're all very excited for Supermassive. Anyway, I think that's it. We'll say our farewells and thank yous. Thank you so much to our patrons for supporting us. Radiant Black at patreon.com/Radiant Black Podcast. Thanks to Joe, Jay, to Patrick, and to Noah for your amazing patronage and support. We really appreciate you. We've got some really cool stuff coming up very soon. I know we're just waiting for one of our producers to help with the new podcast intro because we want to do something really cool. not too crazy, just something cool, something nice and cool. But we've also got some really other exciting things lined up, including an interview that I'm not going to spoil yet, but we do have a cool interview coming up soon. And like we said, Radiant Black tier list. So check that out. If you want to support us, please, leave a subscribe on YouTube, or, like, or most important thing is leave a review if you can. That really helps a lot, helps spread the word. And yeah, we'll put you in bonus entries for our next giveaway because we appreciate you. Anyways, thanks so much. We'll see you next time in Supermassive, and then later after that at the Catalyst War. Thanks, and stay ready.